while we didn't get more Frey pies, I think we got something much better. First off, there is a giveaway at the end of this video for your chance to win a $15 gift card to Amazon. So stay put to the end or just jump to the end. It doesn't matter. And this video is also sponsored by TimeTravelingDinosaur.com, where you can get these awesome earrings for hella cheap. Link is in the video description and comment section below. Okay, starting off the review, I can't think of a better place to start season 7 than at the twins. That just was such a perfect way to start season 7. And I love how well Walder's actor did playing a dude who's actually a little girl playing a dude.
I know who I am. I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
It being only men was to be expected given the women didn't really have a hand in murdering the Starks and their men. I mean, Edmure's wife kinda helped in a way, but still. Walder's actor just had this perfect mixture of trying to act normal, or what Arya considered normal for Walder. She was around him for a little bit before murdering him. But there was that faint disgust and excitement for what was about to happen that you could clearly see in her expressions. I love the slow realization that their lord wasn't praising them, but mocking them. And thank God we got more guess right talk, which I may be obsessed with. Just a little bit. The Northerners / the Old Gods do not approve of breaking guess right. That is worse than murder in their eyes. So seeing Arya address this just was so good. So Arya poisons the Frey men, and I love the girls serving and Walder's wife wanting a drink and the line, not wasting wine on a damn woman. Yeah, Arya didn't want to poison the women, but it also fits so perfectly with what a piece of shit Walder was. Now that entire speech by Walder / Arya was just chilling. Leave one wolf alive, and the sheep are never safe. I think it says a lot about how she views herself versus how she views her enemies. And that's scary. And let's not pretend we didn't notice the look on her face as the men were dying. That was some scary serial killer shit. And notice the same smirk Sansa had as she walked away from killing Ramsay. Those Stark girls are getting pretty bloodthirsty. Her message to them was so brilliant. The North remembers, and winter came. I'm always happy for the North remembers, and the winter came for House Frey was just too perfect. The Starks' house words, winter is coming, and Arya's claim was a direct play on that. There's been a lot of discussion and debate that their house words weren't just a warning to prepare for winter, but that it was also a warning about themselves to their enemies. Step out of place, and winter is coming. We are coming, and you will die. I love that Arya used her house words to show that, which we know another Stark that used winter is coming as a threat.
Tell Lord Tywin, winter is coming for him. 20,000 Northerners marching south to find out if he really does shit gold.
Then it appears she moves south to kill Cersei. If she isn't going north but really south, we might not see a Stark reunion until the end of the season. Of course, she could be straight lying. Why would she tell Lannister soldiers that she's heading north? That would be a huge red flag to them. Oh, so you're a Stark supporter. So she may head north first and then south to deal with Cersei, or maybe she has a chance encounter next episode that leads her to actually go north. Maybe there's a certain wolf she sees. I actually was relieved to see she struggled with killing the soldiers. She wanted to. She really wanted to. She was eye-fucking those weapons like, I'm gonna shank you guys. But after hearing their stories, after hearing about them being broken men, she realized she didn't need to stab everyone to death, which pretty much goes against the Arya code. If you can stab, you should do it. But this shows us that she isn't just a heartless, soulless killing machine yet. She still has compassion, and she's able to show restraint, which I think is really important because, again, those eyes as she walked out of the twins were quite frightening. Ed's cameo was alright. It didn't bother me, but I also didn't get really super excited about it. It didn't take me out of the story at all, as some of my friends were complaining about, so now I just think maybe I have a better attention span than them, or maybe I whine less, but I don't think that's true. I don't know, it just didn't bother me. It was just another cameo. Okay, moving on. How awesome was it just showing us the others coming and the storm they're bringing with them? We didn't need to see them rubbing their hands together, planning their evil attack. Just slowly going forward to lay waste to Westeros. Those giant whites, goddamn. This is going to be an intense battle. I hope they burned 1-1. I think they did. I can't wait for other types of whites this season, though. Next, we did not have to wait long for Bran to get to the wall this season. And I feel weird that I was so excited about seeing Ed again. I don't even know why. I really like Ed. I also like that Bran didn't really prove he was a Stark, but that they were on the same side because the other side is the side that wants them all dead. Whether Ed believes who they are doesn't matter. He knows to get them away from the others. Now, show of hands, who thinks with Bran having the mark of the Night King and going behind the wall, and also being invited by the Lord Commander of the Wall means that the Night King and the others can now pass it? Also note how many times they mention the wall and how they're safe because it's standing. That's some crazy foreshadowing right there. That wall is going down this season for sure. Sort of hope Bran was warging into one of the whites, though, to keep tabs on the Night King. Maybe through one of the giants. He does seem to have a thing for taking control of the bodies of larger people. We then head to Winterfell, where Jon is still in that damn hall talking to Northerners. We hear the dragon glass is worth more than gold speech from the trailer, and then Jon commands the males and females as young as 10 to fight. The female thing was a bit of a shocker, despite the North being a bit harder than the rest of the Seven Kingdoms. It still isn't the most accepted thing, though, so I understand the shock for them. It just makes sense that we would get a bit of disagreement on that. But man, Lyanna Mormont shut that shit down so fast. How much sass does that girl give Lord Glover? I swear to God. Like, he just sees her now and probably starts to shake. Tormund, of course, had to be a dick and rub it into the Northerners that the Wildlings would be the Night's Watch now, since they're gonna go up and man the castles. Tormund, goddammit. Which is actually pretty huge for him to agree to so quickly. They wanted away from the others, and now they're agreeing to go back to the wall to man it, and probably be the first ones to die. Then something happened I think we could all see from a mile away. Sansa wanted the Karstarks and Umber's homes to be taken away. Jon did not. While I agree with Jon that the children shouldn't be punished for the sins of the father, I'm surprised the Northerners were swayed by him so easily. That is a huge thing in the North, and was with Robb. Your men need to feel that people are punished adequately, or they can and will turn against you. The North is very different from the South. I actually have a video about that. Shameless plug. Jon needs to realize that, yeah, he has more pressing things to be concerned about, and yeah, they all need to band together and not worry about punishing each other, but he also needs to step up. They can very easily turn against him. His control of the North isn't as secure as I think he thinks, and I feel like maybe all those stab wounds on his body should start to ache a little bit anytime he's in a situation like this, and remind him, you're never as secure in your power as you think you are. But yes, I do believe on the stance of what was morally right and also what is the best for their current situation. Jon made a lot of sense, but Sansa actually made a lot of sense in the type of society they're in, and she isn't taking into account how big of a threat the others are. I think Jon not wanting to punish the children for the sins of the father will be a big part of his interactions with Daenerys. I shouldn't mistrust her because her father was an asshole, despite what everyone else is telling me. It was neat to see Alis Karstark, but I'm a little disappointed that's probably the extent of her part. I thought maybe Jon would marry her to one of the loyal houses, or maybe a house that didn't have as much as kind of a compromise. Maybe we'll get marriage arrangements in the future. Or maybe we just don't have time this season because we have to fit in that Missandei Grey Worm sex scene, so I guess I'll move on. I was so happy to see Jon and Sansa fighting, but it wasn't as bad as they were making it out to be in interviews. I mean, it could definitely get there, but for now, I can tolerate this. Although I'm not entirely sure her complimenting Jon was genuine. Sophie did mention Sansa is really, really good at manipulating now, that she is one of the best. I have a feeling Royce protesting in the hall may have been set up by her, but I guess we'll see. She did bring up a good point to Jon. You need to be smarter than Father and Robb. It did scare me a little bit when Jon pointed out that it sounds like Sansa admires Cersei, because Cersei's not the best role model for anyone to have. She's kind of batshit crazy. Yeah, she's accumulated power, but that power is waning pretty fast. I kind of feel like Jon's comment about her admiring Cersei was foreshadowing that Sansa's gonna start to do more Cersei-like shit. It will be interesting to see if Cersei will attack the North in winter, as she was taught better than that, but I think Sansa knows how unhinged and persistent the Mad Queen can be. And I do think it's incredibly telling that Sansa views Cersei as a bigger threat than the Night King. She just doesn't get it, but she will. I am absolutely positive by the end of the season, Sansa will realize the Night King is the bigger threat. However, her giving Littlefinger the cold shoulder is a good sign. The ending line was just so good. No need to seize the last word. I'll assume it was clever. That was such a mic drop moment for her. I was so proud of her in that moment, yet at the same time fearful because that was something Cersei would definitely say. Oh well, let's hope she continues to do so and then use him for her own end. Also, bullshit, Littlefinger, that you just want to see her happy. Fuck you. You just want to use her for more power. Everyone sees through your fucking bullshit. Lastly, in Winterfell, neat to see the Maester Vulcan was kept, and we got to see Brienne and Podrick sparring, which is always fun. But Tormund's eyes were even better. This is going nowhere, but I still absolutely love it. Onwards to King's Landing. That map room is so sweet. I love seeing it, and you know it will be snowing in that room by the end of the season. Perhaps before that. I was happy to see Cersei up to date on what was going on and who her enemies are. Jon is the King of the North, Frey's dead, Queen of Thorns with Dany, along with the Sand Snakes. I think her knowing all this in the first episode will help with pacing quite a bit. Especially the Tyrion is advising Daenerys thing. I'm really happy they got that out of the way. Which, boy, Jaime seemed pretty unapologetic for letting Tyrion go, but you still have to think what is going on through his head. His own brother, that he helped escape death, is siding with a woman that wants to destroy everything they have. That has to hurt, but probably not as much as Cersei not wanting to talk about Tommen dying. That "he betrayed me" line was just so Cersei. It's just always about you, girl, isn't it? It's never about any of the meddling or shit you did, or perhaps you drove your son to that state. Nope, he betrayed you. It's all on him. Fuck that kid. It is interesting that Cersei is trying to do what Tywin always taught them to do, which is acquire more power and build their house up, yet Jaime is looking at her like she's crazy when she talks about a dynasty for their house. Maybe he's having too many Tywin flashbacks.
I understand whoever wins could launch a dynasty that lasts 1,000 years.
Could establish a dynasty that will last 1,000 years.
And Jaime is quick to point out the obvious. A dynasty of what? Our children are gone. I don't believe Cersei for a second that she would lovingly give power to Jaime. She will give him as much power as needed to get what she wants done. This is her dynasty, not theirs. And I really do think the looks Jaime was giving her demonstrates he realizes just how crazy she is, or she is getting. Jaime is going to be getting the hell out of there, or strongly thinking about getting the hell out of there, this season. Also, I want to point out we did see Jaime on the fingers and Cersei on the neck, as we did in the trailer, and I think that is some major prophecy foreshadowing. The Tyrells having the food most certainly means Cersei is sending Jaime and the Lannister army to get some of those supplies to feed their people. As Jaime said, you have 3 kingdoms at best, and this isn't looking good. We can guess given the Queen of Thorns has no heirs alive and she's too old to produce them, they'll reach out to another house, cough, Tarleys, in the Reach to make Warden in return for supplies. Next, Jaime's cut down of the Greyjoys was simply amazing. If you know the Greyjoys and the Ironborn in general, they are just such fuck-ups. They're such fuck-ups. I love it. I love doing the history of the Iron Islands because these people, my god. I did like the callback to the disaster that was the Greyjoy Rebellion. However, with the Breach story, I think they were taking Jorah's role in the books rebellion and giving it to show Jaime, or maybe there were multiple breaches. It just kind of seemed like they were taking Jorah's story and the books from charging through the breach for the Greyjoy Rebellion and giving it to Jaime instead to create some dialogue between him and Euron. And show that Euron just gave no fucks about fellow Greyjoys and fellow Ironborn dying. But in general, Jaime's verbal cutting Euron down just did not go as planned. Euron was far too clever, or perhaps far too crazy, to step into his traps. But Euron clearly got under Jaime's skin with talks of marrying the most beautiful woman in the 7 Kingdoms, and having 2 good hands. Euron knows exactly what is up between Jaime and Cersei, and he just loves to twist that knife. The gift he's getting Cersei is obviously defeating some of Dany's forces in a sea battle and getting certain hostages, like perhaps the ones that murdered Cersei's daughter. I think after he gives her the gift of the people that murdered her daughter, she will accept his marriage proposal. And it's great because you can tell she thinks she's so much more clever than him and that she sees right through him, and Euron is just going to play the fuck out of her and just betray her the first chance that it absolutely benefits him, and she'll never see it coming. And I do want to point out that I am quite a bit happier with Euron this season, but I still think he has a way to go to be intimidating. We got the crazy part of Euron, I just think we need to build on it a bit more, and I'm excited to see where they take him this season and the many layers that we're going to see. Alright, at the Citadel, I really didn't need to see that shit montage, but alright. I'm just not one for bathroom humor at all. I don't like it. I don't care for it. It doesn't amuse me on any level, so I just actually looked away for that scene as it was playing over and over again after I saw what they were doing. I was like, alright, I can start looking at my laptop and typing shit up. I don't need to be looking at shit on the screen. Thanks. Cool to see the Archmaester. We got our naked body of the episode, and something I really, really loved, the talk of history and repeating itself. We fall into the same traps, the same way of thinking over and over. Having the Archmaester point out this isn't the end and they can survive from this too was also sort of comforting. So then Sam gets the keys to the restricted area and finds a map of the Mountain of Dragonglass at Dragonstone. Who would have thought that was there? Which, of course, he's writing to Jon about it, which prompts him to go to Dragonstone. Seems like a huge oversight of the show for Sam to say, oh yeah, I thought Stannis was playing about that, but I'm just gonna let it go. I mean, Stannis isn't one to just fucking exaggerate and go off like that, but I guess writing can't be perfect. It sounded so much angrier than what I actually am. Maybe it's just frustration at that part. Oh well, moving on. We also got a photo of what looks like cat's paw, which Arya's promo photos was just plastered with. So interesting to see where that goes and just how important that dagger is. Oh my god, this is going to lead other people to think that Littlefinger is in line with the Great Other. Fucking shoot me now. Gilly reading Legends of the Long Night will also come into play. And if you notice, there was text about perhaps swallowing dragonglass to cure ailments, so maybe Jorah does have a chance with his grayscale. Also, I was not expecting to see Jorah at the Citadel at that moment, so that actually was a bit of a shocker, but it looks like they will be healing him just so he can die later this season. It is known. The Brotherhood Without Banners was surprisingly better than I thought, one of the best parts of the episode. I at first wanted to see other characters, but these scenes were powerful in their own right. I didn't know how much I wanted the Hound back running his mouth until these scenes. The top knot bald call out was just too funny, and so the Hound. Yeah, the Hound has changed, but his mouth just hasn't.
Bald hunt.
Super convenient they came upon the family that the Hound fucked over. In the same episode, Arya completes what the man had said to the Hound and Arya. The gods will have their vengeance for the phrase breaking guess right. And if you consider Arya a weapon of the gods, or the only god that matters, I guess they did. But man, that callback to that season, when the Hound asked him for ale and he says he doesn't have any, and this episode of Thoros saying maybe they have some ale, and the Hound replying they don't, was some damn good writing. Actually, there were quite a few good callbacks this episode, which made me incredibly happy, including Jon laughing about the butt that Sansa did.
He was first ranger.
You know, my brother once told me that nothing someone says before the word but really counts.
You have to... Why are you laughing?
What did Father used to say? Everything before the word but is horse shit.
All in all, I do think this served as closure and character progression, and also to show us where the Hound is at, by having him come back to this family that he had no problem stealing from because he knew they would be dead come winter. And now seeing them dead, he's so regretful, and he just realizes how unfair the whole thing is. And plus burying them gave us the Gravedigger nod, which thank you so much, D&D. God, what a powerful moment with him and Thoros burying them. I also liked questioning why Beric was brought back, showing the Hound has more compassion and awareness now that he's been reborn in a way, which rebirth and growing from your rebirth I think is the kind of theme of this season. Beric not knowing why he keeps being brought back, besides by Thoros, has me believing he is dying this season for a good reason, a sacrifice or completing what he was brought back for. I do believe he will be a sacrifice in a way. That was what he was meant for. As the Hound was pointing out, it isn't fair. Beric's final death won't be fair either, just like it kinda wasn't fair with Lady Stoneheart. The show person he dies for to bring back will basically be the point of him coming back over and over again, just to complete that task. Which I guess I'm saying it's unfair, but maybe for you, you view that as fair. That was what his whole life was coming to, that point. Going back to the Hound, his quips about fire lovers was just fantastic, and sad since we know how afraid he is of fire. I'm surprised he even got that close to the flames, but that is likely part of his change. Letting go of things that held him back or he couldn't let go of. But super creepy what he saw. I think we can all guess if Tormund goes to Eastwatch, which is the Castle Sandor Sol being taken over, he will die this season beyond the wall. He'll be up there for when Jon goes beyond the wall, and of course he'll be on that mission too. Lastly, we have Dany, who definitely brought her best stylist on her ship so she could look totally bitchin' when she got to her family home. I thought I wouldn't be emotional for this after seeing a million promos of her getting to Dragonstone, and I was so wrong. I still teared up. Emilia just nailed that combination of excitement, fear, nervousness, and feelings of righteousness. Ending with her at that table her ancestors made of the Seven Kingdoms with Tyrion and asking, "Shall we begin?" was just as amazing of an ending as the beginning was. And I'm also glad she didn't go right for the throne. I think this shows she realizes she doesn't have the Seven Kingdoms yet, and she needs to fight for it. Not that we won't see her on that throne next episode. Alright, let's end the video on a giveaway. Alright, for your chance to win a $15 gift card to Amazon, just like this video, and answer in the comment section below, what do you want to see brought back as a white this season? I'm going with the Kraken. I'll pick the winner and announce it next episode review. So thank you to TimeTravelingDinosaur.com for the earrings. Thank you for watching, like, and subscribe.